Welcome in to Red and Blue Smoke Week 11 edition. I'm your host, Zach Berry. Joining me, as he does each and every week, Greg Jones of LB's Meat Market. A little bit of a different show for you this week, as we will not have a Grub Talk segment. We're going to talk ball and get into the Ole Miss Georgia top 10 matchup and also give you our picks for the week. Greg, good morning. How we doing?
Always good, always good. Ready for another weekend. And how about those Rebs? Surprising every week.
Yeah, I mean, it was I think it was Kiffin that coined the phrase, or maybe somebody else in the press conference coined the phrase of the cardiac kids. They've been really good at closing games out in the fourth quarter. Defense stepped up, got a stop when it needed, and the offense down late in the fourth, drives down, gets the go-ahead score. They're just a team right now, Greg, that just seems to be finding different ways to win ball games late when they are coin flips. And that's a lot of times when teams wither and don't get it done. Hint, hint, Texas A&M. But yeah, just an impressive win again against a look. The record doesn't show it, but a really talented A&M roster.
Yeah, I think Dart said in his post game press conference, he was like, whenever we were down 4, I mean, we knew we were going to go down and score. And it's nice to have that confidence and knowing, you are going to score, and you just hope that you don't leave enough time for them to, not either kick a tying field goal or a winning field goal. So I knew that he was kind of concerned like that, but I feel like. Whenever he was saying he was all worried about it, I think Kiffin was talking about it. He was like, I think Kiffin's like, dude, show some positivity, because
Yeah.
Dart said, oh, they're going to make the field goal. We're going to, we got to go to overtime. And I feel like I'm the same way. I just felt like I'm Jackson Dart. I'm like, oh, great. So overtime. So I guess, do we need to get the ball first? And instead just being positive and like, hey, the D's going to step up or we're going to make a play and block this field goal. So was the field goal blocked, or was it just
it was blocked. It was tipped.
Okay.
Xavier Harris,
Nice.
all 6'7" of him plus the wingspan got a fingertip.
And that's
it.
what you got to do, is you got to play every single play. You can't, not, leave it leave it on the table out there. So that was a big play by him and the Rebs defense. And I think I said it at the first of the year. I mean, like, what I was looking forward to the most out of this year, if the Rebs can finish games. And they've definitely done that in the fourth quarter. They've definitely been a solid four-quarter team. And it was kind of funny the other day we were watching the A&M game up here at LB's. We were open at 1, so that was like start of the halftime. And I was getting store stocked up, and my mom was doing jalapenos in the back. And it was the start of the fourth quarter, and we were up by 10. So my mom comes around and she goes, what's the score? And I was like, oh, we're up by 10, start of the fourth quarter. She goes, okay, that's good. I'll go back there and make some jalapenos. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll let you know if anything happens. And she got dozed off in her work, and she goes, what's the score now? I go, oh, we're down by 4. And she goes, what the hell? And I was like, yeah, we're down by 4, Mom. It's no big deal. We got it under control. We got the ball. And she goes, well, what happened? I go, oh, Juice ran out on the field, and he didn't bring the tee back, and we got penalized, and they took 3 points off the board. He ended up getting a fight with the other dog, with a Texas A&M dog, and it was just disastrous. But yeah, it's it's back under control, and I think we've got the ball at the 50-yard line, and we're about to score, but we might leave too much time for them to tie up the game. And she's like, well, I'm coming in there to watch now. And so she came in and watched the last of the game. So it's kind of, it's funny. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I kind of told her. She was just like, why didn't Juice return the tee like he normally does? So she's a big Juice fan. She's a big Juice fan.
Who isn't at this point? I mean, make him the official mascot.
I was at the basketball game, and there was Juice signs everywhere. And I'm like, man, I think we just need to change the mascot.
Officially make him the on-field mascot. Look, everybody loves dogs.
Yeah, especially a human-sized Juice would be great.
I don't know if they need a plushie. Like Juice is good enough. He seems to be well mannered, and his temperament seems to be,
Oh yeah.
conducive to being good with kids. I mean, Labs are typically really good with kids.
Well, Juice
Just
is a properly bred dog, so that's he's got really good pedigree, so
yeah,
that's why Juice is so good.
yeah. So, but yeah, just another down to the wire win for Ole Miss. I think at this point, just a good team that just continues to find ways to win and just grits it out. I know that that's big on Kiffin and this staff. They talk about the mindset and just the demeanor of this team and how they're older, they're more experienced, and he mentions that he really likes this group and he likes coaching them, and it seems like a great mesh of current players, returning players, and transfers, and everyone seems to be on the same page and pretty dialed into what they need to do. Speaking of needing to be dialed in, Greg, Saturday, 6 p.m. Central Time, ESPN, Ole Miss at Georgia, Sanford Stadium. All eyes of college football will be on this one, Greg. You've got Kirk and you've got Chris Fowler on the call. You've got College Game Day in town. I mean, seems like probably one of the bigger games in Ole Miss football program history. And it just from my vantage point here, Greg, it's a free shot. No pressure.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's almost too good to be true. I literally looked at the schedule. I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if we got to like Georgia and we only lost one game. And then then I look at the schedule and then I see the, you know, Alabama, LSU, Arkansas, and then Auburn. I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna happen. But here we are. Yeah, why not, man? It's going to be. I mean, this is why you come to to D1 programs. This is why you come to SEC programs, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of guys that have been to recruiting visits to Georgia, and they've seen that culture and everything, and probably wanted to build something here at Ole Miss very similar. So you're in the spot and you got a shot. Why not take it? But you just got to stay in the moment. I mean, there's going to be a lot of hype around this game because I'm not, saying that the SEC's down, but it's kind of in that looks that way a little this year, but still the SEC is the SEC, and it's hard to bet for one of the, if not the toughest conference to win on the road, either at home or whatnot. So just take a shot and see what happens. I just, it's almost like you got to weather the storm in the first two quarters in the first half. If you can establish the run, that'd be great. We did kind of struggle with the run a little bit against A&M, but the run game opened up when we got up tempo. So hopefully we have some first down completions to where you can get the tempo going to where you can get that running game, because it seems like the running game goes really, really good whenever the gas is down and there's no break being pushed. So who knows, man? You just got to have a good game plan. I think Coach Kiffin's gonna have that ready, and man, you just take a shot, man. But I don't know if you'll ever get this shot again, but I'm hoping they do.
Yeah, I think they're going to be similar and or bigger games on the schedule for Ole Miss football in the future. I truly believe that the program's trajectory is
what do you
soaring.
think the spread what would you think the spread would be if it was at Ole Miss this weekend? Do you think it'd be like 6.5, 7?
Yeah, I'd probably say like 6.5, 8. Ole Miss has been very good at home under Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
I think they're 20-2 now in the last 22. Yeah, the splits on the road are very different. I just did a show this morning with Brooks Austin. He works for Dogs Daily with Sports Illustrated. He has a phenomenal YouTube channel. If you're a film junkie, if you love the X's and O stuff, he's your guy. He gets on the whiteboard, he gets into it. Former college football player, he is all about that. And he threw that stat out to me about the yardage and points output on the road for Ole Miss is vastly different. And yeah, I think home field advantage. I mean, Ole Miss has a true home field advantage now. I mean, the crowds have been awesome. And I think there's an actual identity and emphasis there on the crowd being a factor. But yeah, it'll be 90,000 at Sanford. This will be their biggest game of the year, their biggest home game of the year. And to me, I think it comes down to Ole Miss getting off to a quick start. And sure, no shit. Obviously, you want to get out to a fast start, but I think on the road in particular, you want to, go down, score first. Like, basically the formula they had at Alabama before it all went to hell. Get out, score, get some stops, and try to put some pressure on Georgia because all the pressure's on them. They've been kind of lackluster at home this year. That's been kind of the mantra for Georgia. When I listen to national college football handicappers, they talk about fading Georgia at home against the number, and on the road, tail them. Like, they're going to hammer somebody on the road. But right now, Greg, they are 4-10-1 against the spread in their last 15 home games as a favorite. This is the fewest amount of points that Georgia has been favored by this season. So I think Vegas and the national pundits think this will be their toughest test. And I think that it's probably going to be right. I don't know. If I'm being completely honest, Greg, I think Ole Miss is going to have to play a damn near perfect game, and Georgia's either going to have to make a ton of mistakes or have their C or B game for Ole Miss to have a shot here. Because
I also think those numbers that Georgia's trying to cover are big numbers. I mean, they're I think that Vegas kind of fluffs it a little bit on them because they're of the talent level, and they haven't played anybody this year. I mean, Florida's down. That was a really easy game. Missouri was a little bit harder game this year, but I mean, it almost seems like they played to their level, but maybe their level isn't like it was in the championship game against TCU. Because I mean, that I almost think that team could have probably beat some NFL teams. I mean, they were that. I mean, seriously. But maybe Georgia isn't on that level that they were on, and that everybody's improving. The NIL's catching up and everything. So they've got two injuries that are that's gonna affect their team. So I mean, who knows, man? I just feel like if you can get a turnover quick, if you can get somehow, some way, just stay in the game. Obviously you would love just to take the ball and just march right down the field and go up 7-0 and get a quick 3 and out and get the ball back. Because honestly, that's what we kind of did against A&M there for a little bit. We were a terrible holding call away from 21-0 in that game. So I feel like that A&M game would be a whole different ball game. If that holding call. I mean, it is what it is on holding calls, but I mean, I think that was a terrible call.
It's getting pretty ridiculous.
Even the announcers said something, and the announcers were pro like A&M the whole time. It seemed like, but I don't know. I just feel like you don't make that call, you go up 21-0, and it's a totally different ball game. That's just how it goes.
I think the officials the last couple years, and as someone never done college, just done high school, but as someone who's officiated football games, I did it for 12 years. One of the first things, and one thing that I always remembered that veteran experienced officials and supervisors always said that resonated with me throughout my career as an official: never look to make a call. Never look for the holding call. Never look for the pass interference.
Yeah.
You need to react. And I think that officials now are looking to throw flags. They are looking to make calls. And yeah, there were a couple that were pretty damn bad. The one on Priest-Corn was ridiculous.
Just that affects the game. I mean, it really does. And it just, you don't know if their salaries are getting pampered a little bit for making, looking for stuff like that, or they get a, earplug that says, "Hey, look, if Ole Miss goes down and they go up 21-0, I mean, this is going to be, not going to be a good game because I don't think A&M will come back. Make sure they kick a field goal or something like that." But I mean, that's just there's so much money involved, and there's so many casinos being built and so many bright lights in Vegas that that electric bill always gets paid for a reason. So I don't know, man. I just feel like there's a lot of money involved, and who knows if there's stuff like that. But that was a really bad call, and it really kind of changed the game because instead of going up 17-0, they blocked the field goal, return it, and it's 14-7. It's a totally different ball game. So it is what it is. But yeah, you try not to think about stuff like that.
Yeah, I think especially on Saturday, you got to be like this every game. You can't worry about the officials and what they're going to do, but Saturday in particular, I think this one is going to come down to, again, a fast start offensively and defensively. It seems like Pete Golding and that staff have been pretty adamant about forcing people to have sustained drives and march on you. They played a lot of zone. They've sent pressure. They've disguised pressure. I would prefer, if I'm going to speak up here, give my my very uneducated opinion on calling defenses. I would like for more pressure. Ole Miss seemed to have a ton of success last week when they really got after Max Johnson. And it seems like that's been kind of a trend all year. They did it on the road against Auburn when they really ramped it up, came after Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford. They had success. Carson Beck has gotten better as the year's gone on, Greg. He's really matured as a quarterback in the SEC. He doesn't get a lot of credit. He's put up a lot of big numbers, and they've scored a lot of points. He's had his foot pushed up against the fire against Auburn, engineered a game-winning drive, did so again last week when they were down to Missouri, and that one looked like it could get a little squirrely. And even without Brock Bowers, they've been very efficient offensively. So I think Ole Miss is going to have to create some turnovers and create some negative plays and get them behind the sticks early.
Yeah, it just you got to. Who knows if you get that turnover early and you can get that early touchdown and kind of take the game, take the crowd out of it, because that's what we did whenever we beat Alabama at Alabama. I mean, we got on them early and often. I know that miraculous tip and everything helped and everything, but you just got to stay in the moment, do your job and stay on your assignment, and who knows? I think they're going to throw the ball a little bit more. I mean that Trey Harris is unstoppable, I feel.
Dude, man, he's been incredible, and
I mean those one-handed catches.
He's missed games too.
I mean that catch where, and like it literally looked like if he was running a straight line, he would step out of bounds, but somehow he adjusted his foot to stay in bounds. I mean, that was pretty sick.
He has been incredible. The quote went viral this week where in his conversation with Lane Kiffin before, choosing to transfer to Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin asked him, "Do you want to be a first-round NFL receiver?" And, Trey Harris's, I think verbatim was his response was, "Hell yeah." And I mean, he's put himself in a position.
Imagine if we got the Coleman kid that went to Florida State. I mean, jeez.
You get Keon Coleman.
I don't think Trey Harris beats that, but as the player that he is, if Coleman comes, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, the offense is completely different. He's a different receiver than Coleman, and
I just feel like this is what you're going to get with the NIL stuff. Like you're going to get guys making moves.
That's what happened.
For sure, absolutely.
Ole Miss had allocated resources elsewhere, and then FSU raised the price big time, and Ole Miss just wasn't going to go that high, and that's the end of that. But the offense. Look, right now, Greg, only Power 5 program with 3 guys with 600 or more receiving yards. The ascension of both Jordan Watkins and Dayton Wade has been so much fun. Those 2 guys are huge pieces of this offense. And I think Saturday, Ole Miss is going to have to, the old saying in baseball, you pitch backwards. And I think that's what they're going to have to do. I think they're going to have to stretch the field, take some shots to open up that run game to get Judkins going, because you cannot be one-dimensional against Kirby Smart in that defense. You got to be able to mix it up. And you got to run on some passing downs. You got to pass on some running downs. You got to keep them guessing. And the back end for Georgia is really talented. The front seven, they're big, they're physical, they are talented as well, but they don't have the gaudy numbers that you would expect for a 5-star front seven like Georgia. They're pretty low, and I think they're in the top 65 in tackles for loss, where Ole Miss is top 10. Ole Miss is top 5 in sacks. Georgia is, I believe, in like the 40s or 50s in sacks. So they can still get after you, and Kirby's going to have some stuff dialed up, but Kiffin will also have some stuff dialed up. I expect. Look, with ULM and Mississippi State remaining on the schedule, you empty the playbook this weekend, because if you need to save some stuff for ULM and Mississippi State, then you're in trouble. I don't think Ole Miss needs to. So this is the weekend when you just let it all hang out.
Yeah, I just think if you just run your basic offense and just run like you run, I mean, I just feel like just on those first and second down, if you can get positive yardage to where you can get, that up tempo working, it's just a totally different ballgame with our offense, because it opens up that those back shoulders, the deep slant and the slant under the middle and stuff like that. So it is what it is. Hopefully we can work something out and just have one more point than Georgia this weekend.
So what do you think about the game? I kind of have an idea of where I'm settling. I'm still running some beta, doing some more research, but I kind of have a good idea of where I think this one ends up. What's your take on Saturday?
Honestly, I feel like the under might be a good play, because I feel like it might be kind of a slobber knock of a game, if we can both continue to run the ball and, control the clock.
You got a score prediction or anything, or you want to do that?
31-24 maybe.
Okay. Georgia, I'm assuming.
No, I'll take it. I'll take the Rebs by a touchdown.
Okay.
I've made it this far, and they've made me a believer, so I might as well, go down with the ship.
Look, I don't think it would be the craziest thing if Ole Miss were to win. I think that gets overshadowed a lot because of the, Georgia hasn't lost a home game since 2019, and they're 2-time defending champs, and that's all deserved. They are the program in college football, but Ole Miss is a good team. They're a top 10 program for a reason. If Ole Miss were to go in there and beat Georgia, it wouldn't be a fluke.
Yeah, we're definitely going 11-1 and missing out on the playoffs, and Kiffin probably leaving.
But that's fine.
Yeah,
it would suck, but it wouldn't be. It'd be the best season in program history. You have a chance to win 12 games for the first time ever after winning 11 games for the first time ever. So not the worst thing. I'm going to go 36-24 Georgia. At the end of the day, I think they're going to eventually lean on Dejon Edwards and that offensive line and the run game. And I think they're going to run right at Ole Miss. Teams have had success doing that at times. As good as the front seven has been creating pressure and getting after quarterbacks, I think they still struggle. They're still missing one or two guys to really shut down that A and B gap when teams are running at you. I think Georgia's starting to get into Death Star mode here. So I think anywhere from like a 12 to 14 point loss is where this one is headed. But again, if you're Ole Miss, like just go out and compete, have fun, and just stay healthy, and you're right where you should be, and where you think you should be, and where 8-2 heading into the final two games. That's as good as you can get, right?
For sure, and especially you're going to get a really good bowl, and you just I don't know. I just feel like Lane's instilled the mentality of we have to win every single game. And if we don't, we don't control our destiny. So, who knows, man? I feel like if Georgia does get up, early 14-0, you got to get a drive established and get back, 14-7. But, it can get ugly quick, because Georgia is, tough at home, and they've won how many games at home and how many? I'm trying to think. Their last game they lost was South Carolina, Muschamp. Wasn't that? I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what
And I
was that
know
like 10 years? Was that 10 years ago? I mean,
2019.
I'm being,
Yeah.
just
It's
facetious,
fun.
but yeah,
It's funny because Kiffin said that he would love to pick Muschamp's brain on what he did that got him that win, but Muschamp's on the Georgia staff, so he can't do
yeah,
that.
yeah. So it
Yeah,
seems like he's got all his angles covered.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. Again, all the eyes of college football will be on this one. That doesn't happen very often for Ole Miss, so enjoy it, relish it, and for those going to Athens, be safe, have fun. It's a phenomenal college town. I'm excited to get there on Friday. It's going to be a ton of fun. So let's hit the break. On the other side, we are going to get into picks. Like I said, no grub talk this week. If you want to hear some Georgia cuisine, go back and listen to the Georgia Tech episode. We got in pretty deep on
Yeah, I mean,
some
what was
Georgia
that?
food
What
talk.
was the strip club that had the best wings?
uh,
I mean,
is
what
it
was the best wings? My bad.
is it Magic City?
Oh, that's funny. I shouldn't have named. Who had the best wings? Oh yeah, it was that strip club.
Yeah, that's allegedly. I've never been. I don't think Greg has either, but
Well, I'm going.
allegedly they
I'm
do.
going. I've got it. I only remember the good stuff. I promise.
So hang tight. Quick break. Word from the sponsors. On the other side, we'll get into our picks for Week 11. Cooler temperatures are right around the corner, and as I like to say, it's the perfect time to play a round of golf. And if you're looking for a premier golf course in Northwest Mississippi or the Memphis, Tennessee area, go to Cherokee Valley Golf Club in Olive Branch, 15 minutes from the Memphis International Airport. With those cooler temps, you might want to stay warm and comfortable on the course this fall. Go in the clubhouse and check out their new selection of outerwear from Travis Matthew and FootJoy, including FootJoy's new lightweight hoodie. This 18-hole par 72 course includes 4 sets of tees to accommodate all players and has 11 lakes, 52 bunkers, and the wide Zoysia fairways and extra-large Champion Bermuda greens and clean roughs make for an excellent opportunity every single time to post a number. If you need a premier golf experience in the Mid-South, go to Cherokee Valley Golf Club. Call them at 662-893-4444 or check them out, olivebranchgolf.com. Are you looking at cutting your health insurance premiums by as much as 20 to 30%? Are you aging into Medicare and need help finding a Medicare supplement plan? Call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group at 601-953-8449. Drew is an Ole Miss grad located in Mississippi and licensed in 7 states. He works with the nation's second largest health insurance brokerage with access to 35 different carriers, and he can help you with any of your health insurance needs. From regular health plans to life insurance to dental and vision and even Medicare, he has it all covered. Now more than ever, it is critical to have a health insurance agent who is local and accessible. So call Drew Moak at 601-953-8449 and get your free quote today.
The College Corner is headed to Oxford. Stop by their new location in the Oxford Commons off Sisk Avenue. They'll have 4,000 square feet of Rebel gear ready for your trip to the Grove. On your next trip to Oxford, stop by the College Corner or our other great locations in Ridgeland and Flowood. Hats, shirts, polos, pullovers, sweats, t-shirts. College Corner has it all. And as always, you can visit us online at collegecornerstore.com. That's collegecornerstore.com. The College Corner, where your game day apparel meets.
This podcast also comes to you thanks to Bluff City Advisory Group, Memphis's leading team of finance professionals who can provide advanced assistance with financial planning, pension, and qualified plan support, and business and estate planning strategies as well. Former Ole Miss Rebel and founding partner Ben Still, along with his elite-level customer service team, make it their goal to help you meet the ongoing demands of your financial needs. Learn about this and more at bluffcityadvisory.com. All right, SEC football week 11. Let's kick it off 11 a.m. ESPN. Number 8, Alabama, traveling to Lexington at K. Roger. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, Greg. I think Alabama mauls them. I'm laying the points here.
Yeah, I love Kentucky and love being in Lexington and love my horses, but the football team is just not. I think if they're ready for basketball season.
I mean, Alabama is cooking right now. They have figured out what they're doing with Jalen Milroe, and they have an identity now, and they are dangerous because Nick Saban knows they have to win out, to get to the college football playoff. If they win out and then lose in the SEC championship game to Georgia, they will not get into the playoffs. So we talk about Georgia being in Death Star mode. I mean, that's what Alabama's getting in now. I'm laying the 10.5. I think this is a rout.
Oh yeah, I think Georgia wins by 2 touchdowns easy.
All right.
I mean Alabama.
Yeah.
I got Georgia. I got Georgia in my head.
Georgia on your mind, like is that Ray Charles?
No, yeah, maybe Smokey Robinson.
Who is that? Georgia on my mind. Yeah, it is Ray Charles. Okay. Shout out to Ray. All right. Also at 11 a.m. SEC Network, Vandy at South Carolina, Williams-Brice Stadium. The Claw will be rocking. I feel safe in saying that. Look, even though they are bad, that fan base shows out regardless. And I think they will be fired up because they got a dub last week against Jacksonville State. They have a shot at getting to a bowl game. I think Beamer is going to be locked in on that, getting to the postseason, keeping some momentum going to keep that recruiting momentum going that they've had. They've been recruiting at a high level. And Vandy's just flat out bad. I think Spencer Rattler has a career day and just lights them up. I don't know if you saw this, Greg. Spencer Rattler has thrown for over 10,000 yards in his career.
Wow. And that was one didn't he not play one season?
Let me have to look up the career numbers. I mean, he played.
I thought he
obviously
lost his job at Oklahoma and he watched
let's see
10 games.
He played 7 games his first year, or excuse me. No, he didn't play a lot his first year at Oklahoma, just 7 for 11 throwing that season. Then he played 2 full seasons at Oklahoma, and then now he's 2 full seasons at South Carolina. Dude, that's crazy. Over 10K. I don't care where you play or who you are. That's a lot of yards.
Yeah, he's probably got one more year of eligibility too, probably.
He might have a COVID year. Dude, that's when people ask me. They're like, "Does so and so have a COVID year?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I probably."
That's my mom was like, "So is the guy that did really good? What's his name? Harris?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am." She's like, "Is he coming back next year?" I was like, Mom, I don't know, because Alabama could probably offer him $1 million and he'd be gone. She'd be like, "Well, that's not fair." And I'm like, "Well, there's a lot of things you should realize with your age, the way you've made it this far there. And there's a lot of things in life that aren't fair." Like taxes.
Yeah, he's either coming back to Ole Miss and getting a lot of NIL, or he's going to the NFL. I think he's going to the NFL. But going back to the Gamecocks here, Vandy's just not good. They were spunky at home last week against Auburn, but fell flat on their face. Yeah, give me the Gamecocks. I'm laying the 13.5.
Oh yeah, they'll easily win by this.
Yeah. All right. Also around the SEC, we have got 2:30 CBS, the other big one in the conference. Number 13 Tennessee at number 14 Missouri. This one could get interesting. I saw yesterday Luther Burden, the all-everything freshman wideout for Missouri, who was outstanding last week against Georgia and has been just phenomenal all year. He is questionable. I would think he's probably going to play. But right now, Tennessee's favored. I'm seeing 1. I'm seeing 1.5. I still like Missouri to win outright. I don't think Tennessee can keep pace offensively with Missouri because Missouri still has Theo Weiss. They're still got a good run game. Brady Cook has been playing really well as a quarterback in the SEC. I like the Tigers at home at Faro Field in Columbia. Give me the Tigers outright.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something, Missouri. They're sneaky,
they're pretty good.
A pretty solid program in the conference. I mean,
everybody likes to make fun of Drinkwitz and call him a nerd and a goober, and that's probably true. But that's a good football team. He's done a good job this year.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. Yeah, I mean, maybe we can weasel out in their kicker, a hefty guy.
Yeah, they got a thicker kicker there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the thicker kicker. I like him.
Dude, he boomed one against Kansas State to bail him out earlier in the year. All right, 3:00 SEC Network, Auburn at Arkansas. Okay, don't let me down, Hogs. I was counting you out. I had y'all on quit watch. You guys get it done in the swamp. That was their first win ever in Gainesville, Greg.
It's amazing what a new coordinator and fresh,
It's
I
new
mean,
life.
I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. That's how it goes sometimes with teams. I'm a big believer in that. Whenever a coordinator or somebody, Pat Lee, they just feels like, maybe the team stepped up and were like, hey, look, this is what's going on. So, and they played great last week. I mean, I know Florida's not the toughest tool in the tool shed, but at home they are. So yeah, definitely give some shout out to Arkansas.
Yeah, I think Florida, little Dennis Green action here. They are who we thought they were type deal. I didn't think they were very good. They've
And we let them off the
flashed.
hook.
They let them off the hook. Yeah, they flashed a couple times. But yeah, I like Arkansas at home. I think Sam Pittman is one of the best dudes in college football. I have never personally met him, but I know people that have and talk to him every year at media days, and they love the guy. Like they say he is awesome. And I think the fans at Arkansas like him. They want him to succeed. I think there's going to be a big crowd.
A nice rack, too.
It'll be a big crowd, good weather. And again, I just don't think Auburn is worth a damn. So I'm taking the Hogs here. So give me Arkansas, lay the points.
I'm with you. Let's roll. I love the Hogs.
All right. Another big one, not as juicy as Tennessee, Missouri, or Ole Miss, Georgia, but Florida travels to LSU. Both teams looking to bounce back here. Florida losing to Arkansas at home and LSU on the road, losing to Alabama. Jane Daniels, I haven't seen much about him this week. I assume that means he will be playing. Took a big shot from Dallas Turner in that game last week against Bama, got shook up a bit. If he plays,
how was that not targeting? Like, seriously, like I
thought it was. If that's not targeting, then just remove targeting from the rule book and don't do it because that was targeting.
He almost broke his jaw, and the kid had a helmet on. I mean,
it was to the head or neck area, and he drove him into the ground. That's the thing for quarterbacks is when you drive them into the ground, that's when you throw the flag.
I've seen a roughing the passer, like the guy like accidentally hit the guy in the helmet with his hand, and they called it. I mean, it was like the most like, just, and it's, man, I don't know. They got to make that rule a little bit better. And another thing is like whenever they do call it, like it's so hard to literally be like, all right, man, you're kicked out of the game. See ya. It's just like it's just they're trying to play the game in aggressive mode and everything, but whenever it's blatant like that, like come on, I mean you gotta pull the trigger. You gotta, regardless if it's in Tuscaloosa and you don't get the $100 handshake from Saban after the game, regardless of the situation, you've got to pull the flag out and say that's targeting. Yeah, that's brutal.
So my thing on this game is I know LSU is going to score, but can they stop Florida? Because Graham Mertz has done some things this year. He led a big-time comeback against South Carolina, who also has a bad defense. It is in Death Valley at night, but this game is always weird. It's a rivalry game. I'm going to take Florida to cover. Give me those points, but I think LSU wins.
I'm going to take LSU. I think they roll. They're just a different team at home, and I just don't think – not a believer in whatever his name that coaches Florida's football team. I'm
Napier,
yeah. I'm not. I mean, I feel like they're going to hire Dabo.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I know Tyler from Spartanburg is a lot happier this weekend.
Yeah. I still think that was a stunt. I think that was a bit. I don't think that was a real person.
Yeah, for sure. And he took the bait so bad. It was kind of funny.
All right, final game, ESPN2, 6:30. This is for all you sickos out there. Mississippi State at A&M, Kyle Field. That place will be berserk. I've been there at night. It is loud. It is the real deal. And Mississippi State just cannot score. Give me A&M. It may not be a route. It may not be pretty, but I like the Aggies and that talented bunch. I'm gonna lay them. I'm seeing 18.5. I think A&M could get
Wow.
after some ass here. Max Johnson
Yeah,
is
they're really good. They're really good at beating terrible teams.
That's true. That is their calling card. I had heard some rumors that Max Johnson might have cracked or broken some ribs, so that's something to keep an eye on. I don't even know who their quarterback would be because Wegman's out for the year. So
I would just I would just do the Wildcat and give it to number 0 every time. Good Lord, that guy.
Yeah, dude, Nia Smith is real deal. So let's see. Oh, expected to be full go. That is the latest from all Aggies
well, the thing about
on
Max
Sports
Johnson
Illustrated.
was he was always falling backwards and throwing.
Yes, dude, he was
and
throwing pop flies the whole game.
It was literally just an open invitation, just for the guy to land on your ribs, because you're falling back unless you try to brace yourself with your, that's it's the most open to exposure to your ribs that you can do. It's pretty. Yeah, I don't know.
He tried to throw 4 interceptions in that game. If Ole Miss could haul some in, they would have wrapped that one up quicker than they did. But I like the Aggies, especially if he's full go. I just think they're just going to be too talented, too physical up front for Mississippi State to do much of anything.
Yeah.
So
I
points.
Definitely agree. Yeah, definitely agree. I also will say it's funny how the last our last games, so the LSU game, we dropped an interception to seal the game, and then the A&M game.
Yeah, same guy too, Deshaun Gaddy. Deshaun Gaddy. He has to have some nightmares about these drop picks. And
oh man,
wake up in a pool of sweat.
Yeah, he's like, hey man, let me buy you a burger. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. So Greg is calling for the upset in Athens. He thinks the Rebs get it done. I think it's going to be a damn good game, but at the end, Georgia comes out with the win. Either way, we're both predicting a fun one. ESPN, College Game Day, Kirk, Chris Fowler. It's going to be, as the kids say, a movie. It'll be a lot of fun. If you're traveling, be safe. Don't be an asshole. Behave yourself out there, and you'll have a good time in Athens. But Greg, as always, appreciate you each and every week. Tell the folks what you got behind the glass at LB's this week.
Man, we have got some fresh fish. I got some salmon. I got some tuna. I got some redfish and some snapper. So we got plenty of fish coming in this weekend. The lane trains, we got plenty of lane trains. Mama said don't run out of lane trains. So we hadn't run out of lane trains yet. So I guess I'm not fired until I run out of lane trains. So other than that, I'm making some sausage. I'm making some ribeye sausage, some spicy ribeye sausage. Made a batch of boudin last week that is not bland, so it's got a little kick to it. So be careful if you don't like spicy, because the boudin is spicy. Man, just a normal routine. We'll be open regular hours this weekend. We got the 10 to 6 on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then 1 to 6 on Sunday. We got the lane trains 2 for $20 on Sunday. We've got the Philly cheesesteaks on Friday. We got that back in the game plan. So yeah, you can come in and get you a Philly cheesesteak and a couple lane trains, a couple twice baked potatoes, and some stuffed mushrooms, and maybe a link of sausage, and you got your meal for Saturday night, and you really don't have to leave the house. So why not stay in your pajamas and watch the Rebs win in Athens, and maybe videotape it, and they do a collage like whenever we won the national championship.
Yeah,
of all the people celebrating beating Georgia. That'd be great.
All right, that'll do it for Red and Blue Smoke Week 11. As Greg said, go see him, 2008 University Avenue. Get you some meat. Grill out just all day, because you got all day to stew.
Yeah, and the weather's supposed to be really good. Weather's supposed to be really good, I think.
Yeah, I hope that the rain holds off. I need to check the forecast again. I checked it on Monday or Tuesday, and it was calling for some showers. I really hope not, because if it rains, I think that bodes well for Georgia, but we'll see. And I would just like to not sit in the rain for a game. So we will be back next week. More Red and Blue Smoke. Also, stay locked in at omspirit.com. We've got podcasts all week. We've got coverage of the game leading up to Saturday, 6 p.m. Central, ESPN. Ole Miss, number 9 Ole Miss at number 2 Georgia. Until next week, for Greg, I'm Zach. This has been Red and Blue Smoke. We out.